work in the dirt. You can keep your wings clean. All work in the dirt. You can keep your wings clean. All work in the dirt. You can keep your wings clean. All work in the dirt. We don't cope, we destroy. Motherfucker, move back. We don't cope. Nope, never. We destroy. We don't cope. Nope, never. We destroy, motherfucker.
Danny Hellfire.
What's he doing?
All right, that's enough of that.
I mean, that was quality. That was a good start. Oh, gone now as well. It was that good. He disappeared.
Sweet.
That's his appearance.
Nice chat, guys. I'll see you next Sunday.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I pressed the wrong button.
Yeah, no, I gathered.
I was like, that's enough of that. That's my podcast finished.
Next week, lads.
It's supposed to be Dean that's the technophobe, Dan.
Yeah, I know. I saw the buttons. I got excited. It's trying to do too much.
I'm back on my phone this week. I've had the cameras set up in here in the pod room, but we're using the cameras down at farm, so it's too fucking late today to set it up.
You're using the cameras at the farm?
Yeah, we're taking them pictures of the little kids again.
That's what the farm is.
Yes, Animal Farm Park.
I can't tell you the exact location because they'll find the...
Yeah. Well, you've got Matthew Balmer in here, so he knows how to hide some stuff.
Close related.
Yeah, that's right. You can talk later, compare notes.
That's the actual secret to how much progress I've made. It's human meat.
Yes. The thing is, I would do that. I'd do it.
People would actually do it, though. That's the problem.
Yeah, they drank breast milk. I would eat breast.
100%.
Human breast.
It's the best protein you could eat as a bodybuilder, isn't it? It's got the perfect amino match to what we need, obviously.
Yeah.
So, fuck yeah. But it depends.
Readily available.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Who would you eat, though? Who would you eat? Because half of these people eat shit diets. I don't fancy eating them.
All right. That's not a bad Christmas question. It's
Okay.
Christmas Day. You've got to eat humans. Who are you eating?
Slow ones.
I'm basing on Matt's progress. I'm eating Matt.
Yeah.
Let's all have a bit of Matt's quad for lunch.
Yeah.
There's a fucking enough to go around.
I'm easy to find. I'll be at the gym and I'm easy to catch because
There's enough for the whole family.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be leftovers. The bubble and squeak the next day is going to be
all in the pot.
100%.
Getting mashed up glue for the next day.
I love it. So, I'm actually going to do an intro on this one. I noticed on the last one we didn't do an intro, and I think on the one before that we didn't either with Zach.
It's because I came on and chatted absolute bollocks, and then everyone just forgot.
Yeah, that's kind of your thing. But
that is kind of a thing, yeah.
The thing. Right, okay. Welcome back to Brash Bros Podcast. We're at episode 87. We're nearing on the century. What are you doing?
I'm like mirroring the skull.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, symmetry. It's an autism thing. Don't mind me.
Anyway, so this week we are joined by Mat Balmer, PCA World Champion, PCA Pro, man who took the PCA by storm this year. If you haven't seen his profile, head over and give him a follow. But we're here to pick your brains, brother. What we do ask from our guests is just for a whistle-stop tour of what got you into bodybuilding, bit of your history. I guess I will flash up the photo of your progress in a bit because that is phenomenal.
It ruined my life.
Yeah, give us a little whistle-stop tour of what got you to this year and where you are now.
So basically kind of how I got into it. I think for about as long as I can remember now, I've always trained at some degree. So I think I was about 14 when I first went in the gym. So it was a mate of mine in the year above had his work experience at a gym, telling me how good it is. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll come down and have a look. So kind of went down about 14, one of those annoying kids that uses every single machine with like 4 of the mates and doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So that was me for a couple of years, but just enjoyed it. Like, loved being down there. Like, I could be down there 2.5 hours. I wasn't bothered. I'd do everything. If I was doing chest, I'd do every single machine I could find chest. If I was doing legs, do every single machine I could find. So kind of did that, and then as I got a little bit older, things dropped off, lost a bit of interest, and then kind of picked up when I was about 18, 19 again. So where I was working at the time, a few of the lads were like semi-pro rugby, so there was like dead into like their S&C work and training. So I got in with training with them really. Got a load of shit because I didn't train legs. So I was like, well, I just want to look good in a t-shirt, want to go out and look all right. And then since then, like that was like a big thing for me. Like I made it like I will never miss legs. I will never train like a pussy. And that's where that kind of came in, just by being abused, really. So anyone who doesn't like a bit of banter and a bit of bullying, it might upset you, but
it doesn't work for Dan. I bully him all the time.
maybe not doing it hard enough.
Oh.
Well,
so I'll let you have this one.
Story.
We'll keep the flow today. It's Christmas.
Yeah. Anyway, so like, yeah, kind of went on like that for a bit, training just for enjoyment. Kind of diet was whatever it is when you're like 18, 19 or whatever. It was kind of whatever I could afford. Was never bothered by bodybuilding at all, really. Wanted to have abs. Used to look like Kirk Miller, Ryan Terry, like, yeah, that's it. If I could have abs like that, I've made it, sorted. And then, yeah, kind of did that for a bit. When I got to, I think, 22, I was like, right, let's push it a bit more now. So I got a coach and decided to do a physique competition. So I thought I'm not big enough to do bodybuilding. I'd never run anything. And I was like, right, what can I do where they're not massive? And that was kind of the look I liked anyway. Like I followed some of the physique guys, like I say, Ryan Terry, Sadiq, all those guys, and thought, yeah, like that's how I'd like to look. So went for that, ran my first like cycle into that, and it just wasn't there. Like I didn't really have a look for it. I didn't enjoy it. I hated the posing. I was just like, what am I doing? Like twist here, smile, fucking flex your abs, wave your hands, don't close your fists. I'm thinking, what the fuck am I doing?
You got to stir the bowl of porridge, the invisible. What is that? You got
I don't know.
The porridge.
And I just didn't get that, and I look like a fucking sausage even trying. So, that was the physique career abruptly over. Just started training after that, and just like trained how I always had done, really, like bodybuilding style, but just started pushing my food a little bit more. Started growing. I think I did like a diet for a holiday after that. So that would have been like 2017. And then after that, I was doing a diet for another holiday. And everyone's like, why don't you do a show? Why don't you do a show? So I'd had like kind of a couple of years of somewhat bodybuilding training under my belt sort of thing, eating like pretty regular and doing it to probably 80% or something like that. Like all your clients do when they tell you they're doing everything to the T. And yeah, I was dieting for a holiday, and someone's like, why don't you do a show? So I was like, right, how long we got? So it was 4 weeks before I went on holiday. So I was like, right, that's enough time for a prep. So dropped in 4 weeks, got a coach, got ready for that. Did IBFA first timers, Midlands, just because it was the closest show to me, and it was the one day before I went on holiday. So I went on, did first timers. I won the first timers. I don't know how, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing up there. Did a few posing classes with my mate, and like in the upstairs massage room of a boxing gym. So like very, very basic stuff, but managed to pull it through. Went on holiday the next day for like a week, all inclusive, filling my face, and then came back, and there was a week till finals. So I was like, fuck it, yeah, I'll be all right. So just pulled cars back for a bit, went for finals. I think I'm like 4th or 5th or something like that. And then, yeah, I think after that, really, that was when I got the bug, and that was when I was like, right, this is what I want to do now. It's not like training 5 days a week and kind of eating chicken and bits and bobs and like what I think is clean food. I was like, right, this is it now. So pretty much from then, I've lived it how I do now, like 100%, everything to a T, as much as it can be. Cardio done every day, steps done every day, meals eaten, no meals missed, no cheats really, maybe one a week. And that's kind of what's led me from the 2018 show, which I think is the one that Johnny was on about with the, like some of the photos, up to obviously the last show, 2022. And if you to look back from maybe 2013 2014 or whatever to 2018. Like, yeah, there's a jump and whatever, but it's not crazy drastic, because I think I was basically, yeah, that's the one. So yeah, it wasn't that drastic because I was only doing it half-assed. I was doing what I wanted, but then obviously the 4 years where I've actually properly dedicated myself to it, the jumps are way bigger. And yeah, that's where we're at really. So decided to do the prep as an opportunity to catch a rebound, because I'd been doing a long off season, couldn't eat anymore. Weight would kind of reach a point, drop down, go back to the same point, and so on. So I was like, right, I can't physically eat any more food. Let's do a diet. Let's get sensitive. Let's get hungry again, and let's use the prep as an excuse to like blow up on the outside of it. So what shows we got left? Because obviously it was already late in the year when I was looking, and there was one show I could see, apart from a couple of natural shows where I thought I'm maybe pushing it. So yeah, we did the 10-week show for the Open. That was then a qualifier for the Worlds week after, so did that as well. And then yeah, obviously wasn't really expecting too much out of it, with it just being an excuse to kind of resensitize and go again. So the result was awesome, really.
Well, I mean, maybe the pressure being off helped. Maybe because you weren't, you were thinking about it in a different way, in a longer term plan.
Yeah.
That maybe it helped. I mean, I saw you come up, started seeing some shots, and I was like, oh, this guy's fucking dangerous. And I remember messaging you being like, oh no, this is not a trial. You're going to be there for sure.
It's one of them, I think, with yourself, you never see it, do you? And like the pressure,
of course.
I think you always still put a lot of pressure on yourself, whether it's not even there because, like you say, it was just an excuse to kind of rebound out of. But you still, like, people like, even just like you, Dan, saying like, oh yeah, I think you do really well, and you have other people saying that, and it's like, well, fucking hell, everyone thinks I'm going to do really well now, so I can't shit the bed now.
I love how that works out though. There's me purposely going into a prep and bumming it up, and then there's this guy just like, yeah, I'll just do a prep to catch a rebound, and accidentally becomes world champion. Like, back off.
We've had a few of these.
So, Matt, you were saying about the first proper bodybuilding show you did. You normally prep for 4 weeks for your holiday. Did you say you did the same into your show? You just did a 4-week prep?
Yeah, basically. So I'd already started dieting a bit for holidays, so just kind of bringing things down a touch. I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm reasonable. I've got like abs in, things like that, where I was aiming for like a beach looking 4 weeks, you know what I mean? So like pretty tidy, but you're not trying to get your glutes in, sort of thing. So that kind of maybe like 6 weeks out. But I've always changed pretty quick, especially dieting. Like as soon as I pull food out, that's it. Like I'm dropping weight fast.
Yeah.
That was kind of the first time I realized how quick it can change. So yeah, got ready in 4 weeks. Like condition wasn't the best, don't get me wrong, but like it was a first time show. It was like,
it's for 4 weeks, and then to win and then go on fourth in the final, that's phenomenal. So did you think like, I got pretty good genetics here, I could do a lot better if I really pushed my head into it? Because you obviously made some tremendous gains. I was looking at some of these pictures flying around from the PCA shows. I was like, fuck, this guy's incredible. Looking at your muscle bellies, how tall are you?
5'7", 5'8", like that.
I'm 5'7".
I think I'm more 5'7".
You kind of got like shorter limbs, long muscle look, a little bit like kind of like a Flex Lewis kind of muscle belly, where you see he's got a very short limb and a long muscle, like his calf stretches. You got really good structure and muscle shapes there, and the gains you've made, you've blown up. You're looking tremendous. So I think keep doing what you're doing. You could do some serious damage in the future.
Thanks, man. Like that's the goal. I mean, like you say about did I realize in 2018, and like no, like I'd say like obviously there's levels to everything in genetics wise, and I never thought I had anything more than like average. It's only kind of maybe probably the last year or something like that. So since kind of working with more guys doing the coaching, and then seeing people from, now I've been in bodybuilding a bit longer, seeing people from show to show to show to show, it's only now where I'm like, oh well, he still looks about the same, or like he looks a bit better. I can see he's done this or that, but it's been 3 years, and then I look back and see kind of where I've come, and then it's like, oh, like okay, mate, like maybe I'm making bigger jumps like than some other people. So that's the thing where I'm like genetics obviously has to play a role. Like I don't think anyone does more, but also there's a lot of fucking guys out there that aren't missing a beat. And it is the guys that are at these high level competitions, and there is still like a bit of a difference. So it's only then that I've started realizing, okay, like I might not be completely useless.
Well, I mean, you're probably not genetically gifted to be a big rammy kind of, but you're blessed with nice shapes and the muscle structure is awesome. I'm not taking away at all from you must be fucking smashing it in the gym to be making those kind of games. I don't care what genetics you got. To get a quad like that on stage, you got to be fucking smashing some pretty decent weights out there and killing yourself in the gym.
Yeah, that's it. But that's the part I love as well. The stage. Dusty Anshaw said it, and I said to someone, I was like, this relates to me more than I can say. Like my show ends in like the hotel room just before. So like I could completely leave the stage bit fucking about getting your tan, all that, waiting around all day. I could leave it before that and be like, yeah, look, I look like this now. I look like that last year. Yeah, I've won.
100%. I fucking hated the whole thing about getting on stage.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oiled up, but the prep, how hard it was, and what you put yourself through. It?
Just the off season where you're just in there, just every time, just fucking crushing sessions, and like you're feeling great, weights flying. You're just big and nasty and fucking you don't care. that's the part. That's the part. That's why we do it, innit? That's why we do it.
Yeah, I mean, some people do love the stage, and they really do love going and presenting it. That's not me. I like you said, it's the tasks and the goals and the achievement. And you put something in the diary, I will get on stage in pants, and you do it because it's part of the goal that you set. But yeah, you're right. Like I'm going there just as a marker. On this day is when I call it the end of what I'm doing. And this is just a way of putting a definitive kind of line. But yeah, I'm not the stage. I could definitely leave that, especially like, you know, it's like you turn up and you're like, yeah, I'm sure it'll run smooth. It's always fucking behind. Everyone's mental backstage. People are coming off crying, like the tan's fucking everywhere. I've got to put on 13,000 layers for like 3 weeks or whatever. I could definitely leave that.
You got the same skin tone as me. It's pretty much apparent.
At the Arnold's, I like literally ordered some stuff from fucking Germany that Dennis Wolf used because he's the palest person I've ever seen, and I literally just used the whole bottle, and then went for my undercoat professionally, and then went for the top coat. But the key, if you are pale, is get it on really, really thick, and then do have a shower, because otherwise it'll just grip to the pores and just drip dry. I've had a few people ask about, because I'm so fucking pale, how did you get your tan at the Arnold like to look all right? And the key is to get really, really dark and then wash off that kind of dusty. You know, it looks that kind of dusty when you like leave it on. Yeah. Just do one shower, then go and have your top coat, and then it was all right.
The key is just use creosote, what you use for painting fences.
Everyone was like, yeah, just do like MT2, and I was like, it doesn't happen. The tan is no. It's not. No.
So Matt, obviously we've just established that you accidentally won the World Championships and won your pro card with PCA. What's the plan going forward? Are you going to stick with PCA, or are you going to go and do the NPC? What's the crack?
So I think the plan, it could change, it always does, but the plan for now is to stick with the PCA for 2023. So I don't know what shows they've got at the minute that are pro shows. I know they've got the British and they've got the Worlds again, which is in Spain. So I'd quite like to do an international show. I've not done one yet, so it'd be good to do that. But with the British being so close, probably doing the two would make sense. Also gives me a good run up to kind of the end of the year.
Give some fucking money, mate.
Well, that's it. I mean, it pays for a bit of prep, pays for a bit of Milos's time and some chicken. So that's all. But yeah, I'll probably just use this year to kind of grow a little bit. And I don't think currently I could be competitive in the IFBB. So I think with another year, obviously more time on stage as well, another off season, another prep to kind of, the more preps you do, I think you learn yourself a little bit more each time. And then going into 2024, I'd like to be able to get to the position where I could do a qualifier with like a two bros or an NPC, and then potentially, if it's attached to a pro show, come first call out in the pro show the next day. Like I want to be at that level where I can go straight on rather than, oh, I won his pro card. Oh yeah, that was like a year ago, wasn't it? Or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. And it's like, well, where's he been? Well, he can't compete anywhere as an amateur now, and he's still like 225. So he may as well not save his money and not go to America. You want to be able to go straight over with momentum and be able to keep competing, really, because I think you can soon shut yourself off from competing. And also the price fit. Who wants to be spending $5,000 on a trip to come dead last, to stand at the side of the stage and watch everyone else get called out? It doesn't make sense to me. So I think with that time frame, I could be at a point where I can hopefully hang with some of the bigger boys at maybe like a smaller show, like a Spain or an Italy or France or something like that.
This is brilliant, mate, because somebody actually talking some fucking sense for once. Everyone wants to get a pro card just to say I'm a pro, and then often never compete again, just to put Instagram on IFBB Pro. And most of them are not even good fucking amateurs.
That's it.
I mean, I really believe, looking at what you've just done in the PCA, and this is early days, that you could really do some damage in the IFBB Pro ranks in the future. So I wouldn't put yourself down like that at all. But it's great to see that you want to be ready and be at a very competitive level before you take that leap.
Yeah,
nobody numbers up on stage just to say, yeah, I'm a pro and I got on that stage.
Exactly.
Well, sometimes that can be the end. Where's the momentum if you're that far off? Like sometimes that can then be the end, you know. And then how many times do you then do a pro show and come bumfuck nowhere before the joy's sapped out of it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you see it happen all way too fast. It's like the pro card's the end goal, and it's like, well, it's not the end goal, surely. Like that's your ticket to the goal. That's your ticket to the show.
Like, you're just starting now, isn't it? Once you
just got in there, you're just able to start like a career, or you're able to get on the best field there is. Like we've always said, like you should chase a pro physique, don't chase a pro card, because it's just a card at the end of the day to say you're allowed to compete with these guys. It doesn't mean doesn't mean you can compete, because you're not competing. You're there, they know who they're placing top 6 straight away, and you're not in it. You're just fucked off to the side and made to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, and you get to pay 250 quid first. It's
an expensive trip to just
250 quid when you win your pro card. You buy it.
Yeah,
It's the best prize ever. Like winning the Christmas raffle, winning the meat raffle, and you have to supply the meat.
It's disgusting, isn't it? Because what does pro mean when you're a professional athlete, or you're a profession at anything? That means you get paid for your profession, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Apart from bodybuilding, you have to pay them to be pro. It's fucked, isn't it? The whole fucking sport is all against you from day one.
Yeah. Well, the PCA prize money, based on what we spoke to Sean about, might be a bit better in the short term anyway. Regardless of the goals, you probably earn a bit more money there anyway than you would have done. So
yeah, well, that was the thought. I kind of seen what Peter Molnar did when he was with the PCA, and the guy absolutely just cleaned up. And I thought, like, if you did want to stay with that, like, you've got such a chance to travel, like, through Europe. They've got tons of shows, I think. So you could travel around Europe. You're picking up $2,500, $5,000, or like whatever a win, and you're knocking them out. Like, obviously, he was above the level of PCA. He knew that, which is why it was so easy for him. But if you were at that point, because from what I've seen so far, the pro ranks aren't stacked out. Like, there's good guys in there, but they're beatable guys. It's not like, oh fuck, I've got to go and beat a big Ramy, or I've got to go and stand next to a Hunter Labrada. It's like these are guys you can look at and be like, I could beat him at some point. Like they're not that genetic elite where it's like, fuck, it's us and them sort of thing. So it's a lot more realistic route, and I think a lot of people kind of overlook it, like it's almost shunned a little bit. If it's not IFBB, it's shit.
Yeah, I think that's starting to change a bit, though, isn't it? Like the PCA
Yeah.
Pro card is starting to have a bit more prestige about it now.
I think that people see the opportunity of actually like earning some like money, and you know, we're not in a position where there's one pro card a year.
Yeah.
You know, there are multiple pro cards, and there are probably like as many PCA Pro cards being handed out as there are IFBB ones. You know?
Yeah, I think people are just thinking about it a little bit more now. It's rather than just like people have always just wanted to say IFBB Pro or like put IFBB Pro in their Insta, but without thinking kind of what comes with it, and anything else that isn't that is no good. Whereas for most people that aren't your 0.0.1% of the population, your PCA route, you're going to actually be able to compete with. Like, you're going to be able to rise through the ranks. Then when you're good enough, you're going to be able to turn pro, because even turning pro for a lot of people is out of reach with the IFBB. You have to be fucking very, very good to get to that level. Whereas I think the PCA is at least more attainable. Then when you get there, you can compete as a pro. They pay for you to travel, like they pay for the guys to go to Spain this year, next year, sorry. And it's like they do seem to be giving a lot more to the athletes. The shows are really well run. They're completely different to like a Two Bros or some of the other shows that I've seen. And I think people are getting fed up of the money, and kind of like the service.
I mean, even like I was talking to Hollingshead at the other weekend, and he was saying that like the posing routine is like 45 seconds.
Really?
At the O. I remember when they would call them out, and you just do it for pretty much as long as you fucking like.
Yeah, when it was a show.
You would just. I still loved it when they called them out. I go on about it all the time. Do you remember when they did like the challenge rounds?
Yeah.
And it was like a real spectacle. Like
Marcus Rule and Ronnie Coleman,
calling each other out, and then the cards came up like fucking top trumps, didn't they? And they were like Ronnie Coleman versus Marcus Rule.
It never made sense, though, did it? Because
no, of course it didn't make sense. But neither does Men in Pants, really. Like it was good. It was good. Yeah, and I think that's what it needs to. It does need an entertainment value if they're going to stop scraping money off the competitors. It needs to have a viewable aspect. There's something that's a little bit more.
Have you seen the qualified list for the Olympia though? No matter they're going to do 45 seconds. How the hell are they going to get?
Yeah, there's a fucking lot. Yeah,
it's like 30 people qualified for the Open.
He's like 35 qualified, 30 something are doing it because of like travel or whatever. But it's a massive amount, and then that's the smallest class probably is the Open.
But then it's the Olympia. I just think that they should be given more time.
Yeah, no, I agree. But again, when you look at the lineup this year, it's like, I mean, the gauge for a lot of these pros was making the top 10 generally each year, if you can make the top 10. But that lineup, top 10 is going to be guys who traditionally you'd see in the top 6, I think. There's some mental names going up there this year.
Yeah,
it'll be a hell of a Olympia.
Does anyone have any predictions?
We probably do that right now.
I mean, my predictions are mixed in with a bit of hope. I'm not gonna lie.
There's so many unknowns this year. I think you kind of just have to hope they turn in how you want them to turn in to get those placings, because it's not cut and dry this year. Like you say, the top 10 this year would have been the top 5 last year or something. It's so hard.
And as well, there's people that have got a lot of hype that we haven't actually seen for a while.
Yeah. Let's do it though. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hunter's like had a lot of hype, but when was the last time we really saw him? And his pec looking pretty bad, and he's looking like in photos, but it's Instagram, isn't it? Like, who the fuck knows?
Yeah. Right. Let's do it then. Let's do a top 6.
All right.
Who's
going first?
I mean, Rami's going to take it if he comes bang on. But I mean, there's a lot of ifs. You can't. Nobody knows.
Let's just say they're all bang on. Just say they're
all bang on. I can't see anyone taking Rami off the spot.
No, because he's set the bar, hasn't he? He's set the bar for mass, and until they do a fucking absolute U-turn like they did in 2008, that's where he'll be unless he fucks off. basically.
He seems to be concentrating a lot on holding that fucking massive size and bringing his waist down every year.
Well, we seen a photo of him in clothes the other day, and he was looking small, which is a good thing, because if Ramy looks small, that means he's in shape.
This is going to be the lightest because he's been on stage in a long time. I think it said like 295. They're expecting him to be on stage.
Oh, that's tiny, isn't it? He's
He'll lose on that alone. His legs do look a little bit like there's something strange going on.
Like there's 4 people inside his quad.
Well, yeah, like one of them's died in the daisy chain.
Yeah. The thing is as well, though, with his quads, is that I think there was like a conspiracy theory going on that he never shows them when he does guest posing and all that stuff, when he takes his tops off, and that essentially they get filled up on the days leading to the shows.
Do you reckon literally just someone turns up with like a fucking BP?
It's a cycle.
Reverse it in here.
It's a cycle pump.
Plug him in.
Like it's conspiracy that they think Ramy needs bigger quads though. Like just not quite big enough. They're only 43 inches this year. Let's fill it before the show. Size is not the issue. It's the fact that look like
if they was doing that, then they'd fucking pump his calves full of shit, wouldn't they? To get the same size.
Okay, so second place.
I wanna say Nick, but yeah. There's so many good guys, you know what I mean? They can all jump up and down.
I'd go with Nick as well.
William's supposed to be looking phenomenal, and he can do some fucking damage if he comes on. But there's a lot of hype around Nick, and he's gonna come on. He always does.
He's 14 pound up since last year, and his waist looks smaller.
No, I've not seen much of Hadi yet, but I'd like to see him. He's the one that I'm always just can't not look at the Olympia. Like I wanted him to win a couple of times when Ramy took it. I know he's going to be quite downsized this year compared to probably most, if not all, the guys in the top 6, top 10. Especially with like Nick being bigger, Hunter being bigger, Ramy who's likely going to take it. You reckon Brandon's the biggest of all time? Like I don't know if he'll maybe get overshadowed, but for me, he's the one where every time he steps on stage, I'm like, fuck.
I agree 100%. I think he gets bombed over. I think he should be placed higher many times because his physique is fucking phenomenal. He may not be as big as Ramy, but his quads are not far off the fucking size, and he is rock hard granite condition. You don't see that much anymore.
No, I think I respect him.
Well, I was seeing the classic physique guys, and they are kicking fuck out of the open guys condition at the moment. I know they've got a weight cap, so they have to do it. Yeah, so they have to come in like granite, but they are coming in a lot harder than the open guys, the classic physique guys, and I think that should start to be rewarded a bit more.
It's a big factor in bodybuilding. I mean, I don't want to take nothing away from him, but Brandon, beautiful physique, awesome. He's fucking massive, but to me, he always looks soft. And if you stand Brandon next to Hadi, I think Hadi blows him away. I don't know how the fuck Brandon won. Amazing physique, but to me, he's too soft. He's bloated, almost like he's the forced muscle, like he's pumping up on insulin. He's over carbed up. I don't know what.
Legs always tend to look a bit like watery, or
I mean, don't get me wrong. They hit the muscle comes through, but they still always look a bit soft compared to like Hadi.
Yeah.
Like granite.
Drawn to straight away with Hadi. Like his quads are so big, but they're so peeled and like cut where you could put like a fucking coin in his quads and his striations. It's just that's the freaky side of it where you're like, yeah, that's some shit. Whereas Ramy he's big as a house, but that's all he is. And I know his symmetry is good, his proportions are good, everything's good, but it just doesn't wow you for me.
That detail in every single muscle in his body and that grainy hardness. Yeah. To me, I've spent many years dieting and really chasing the best condition I could possibly get. So I know how seriously hard it is for anybody to get that kind of condition. And when you're that big with that condition, that's fucking impressive. Yeah. It's hard, and that's why you don't see it very often.
Yeah, I mean, the Brandon thing, it's like with the legs, it feels like they've flattened out, if I'm honest. Like, and that's what kind of, there's no detail to them, but they look like knackered. Does that make sense?
The problem is with
Master.
Yeah.
Problem is with Brandon though, is I think he gets like a bit of a buy because he won the Olympia that 1 year when there was nobody there. I think he gets pushed up the rankings a little bit just by proxy. Like last year, he shouldn't have placed where he did, but this year maybe the lineup's going to be a little bit too strong, and he will get exposed a little bit. I think.
So should we put Hadi second?
Yeah. No, I want Nick second.
I don't think he's going to come second. But,
You reckon?
Yeah, I want him to be second, but I don't think he will come second.
Do you reckon Nick is going to pip him?
I don't know.
I just think
he's get bummed again with his decision. He should be a place or two higher than what he gets placed.
Yeah, I think Bonac again is going to be someone who's going to do very well this year.
Always rated
got those kind of issues sorted. He's just packed out, and he's beat a lot of these guys. Beat Ramy.
Yeah.
So he could be anywhere.
Everyone forgets how good Bonac is.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
his only downfall is his structure. When he's standing next to these guys, he's not the widest guy on stage, but he is stacked. You can't get a gram more muscle on him.
You really can't.
It's unbelievable.
It's just got a short torso. I think that's what throws his look off. But like you said, there's no room. That is surely as far as that can go.
And he brings the fucking condition too. He looks unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a few duds, hasn't he? But when he did, I can't remember. Didn't he come third? Or did he come second?
Yeah, I think he came second that 1 year, didn't he?
Yeah, and it was well deserved. He looked fucking absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought he was in the run for the win that year. All right, well, let's not spend. Okay, let's put Nick second.
I'm just trying to find the lineup now because I can't.
Go Hadi third, obviously. Hadi and Nick potentially interchangeable. So fourth place.
So this is Derek's got the bye, hasn't he? He got the special invite.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be in top 4.
What's anyone thinking of Andrew Jack? Do you think he'll crack the top 5? His frame is huge.
Yeah, he's phenomenal, but I just think
he's got structural flaws that will be exposed at the Olympics.
He needs more time, don't he, just to fill a few areas to be with the best of the best.
And to be polished as well. Like at the Olympia, you cannot get away with that. Like I was there at the Arnold, and kind of just some things you see, like I shouldn't be seeing that up there, not on that stage. Like he is great structurally and genetically, and he's probably one of the most gifted guys we've seen in a long time. But
we've seen him 3-4 shows. I think the Arnold. But this is it, isn't it? Like you see guys, they win a show, and you're like, "Fuck, that guy's Mr. Olympia." Until you put them next to these fucking phenomenal top 10 in the world, then they really shows like how crap.
I'm gonna just be a dick and just say I'm not a fan.
Mm.
I don't think he's the next Ronnie Coleman. And one of the biggest things in terms of, and I've talked about it before, one of the biggest flaws in terms of the silhouette is long lower arms and long lower legs. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but it throws off loads of poses. And when you put him next to someone who's as good without that, it's the O stage.
Yeah,
structurally, it's gonna stand out.
Yeah.
And because he's not been training long, forearms and like calves and stuff are the things that, if you haven't already got them, kind of take a long time. Like hasn't got forearms. The poses at like the lat spreads are thrown out because his elbows are so far out. I just think when you then put him next to someone who's structurally perfect, it's going to be obvious.
Yeah, I think his frame's so big and his overall looks nice and polished. It looks really nice, but there's nothing freaky stand out about him, is there? Like Nick, he's got these fucking hamstrings hanging off from the front of his legs. Like, who has that?
Yeah. I mean, Nick's got an ugly physique. Nick's physique is ugly. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I love freaks. So I'm into it. But like the thing that might play against him is it's not pretty. It's
not aesthetically pleasing, but he's just like, fuck.
That's the thing. If the only person who's going to challenge Ramy this year is going to be another freak.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point. If we're now playing the freak game, all right. So who we got? We've got Big Ramy. We're gonna at first. Then we'll put Nick second.
Hardy third. So we were talking about Bonac. Are you guys thinking Bonac fourth?
I think Bonac's got to be in the top 6. It's got to be somewhere.
It would be like third or something. You know, it just depends. Like he can drop a lot of spaces if he comes off. If he comes on, he's can do some damage.
I don't think he's going to be off this year.
I don't.
Yeah.
All right, I reckon put him in.
Yeah.
Put him in. What does that put him then? 4th?
Yeah.
Third or 4th.
Okay, 4th. Then who have we got?
I'm putting a curveball in there. I reckon.
I want to put Samson in.
Yeah, that was my curveball. I think that. Yeah.
I would love to see him in the top 5.
I want to put Samson in. I mean, I know we haven't seen him for for a while, but from what it looks like, he's somehow put on like 20 pounds of muscle. Like in prep. I don't know.
Well, he was 330 in the off season. That's fucking insane. And he had abs.
Yeah.
I know they're just pictures and it's lighting and angles. I seen a picture. He had his top on, and his quad from the side, and his hand. It looked fucking huge. So I would love to see him crack the top 5.
Let's give him 5 just because we're British. Not think about it too much. So we got for the 6th slot.
It's going to be a tough slog, that one, isn't it? You've got like Derek, you've got Ian, you've got Hunter.
Do you think Hollingshead beats Ian?
No.
Not yet.
See, because I think that Ian's quite badly put together.
He is, but he comes inside out. And
yeah.
When Hollingshead's playing that balance game at the moment, he's going to come in big and he's going to be reasonably conditioned, but he's not going to be like diced and like completely inside out diced, is he? Like
it's a better plan for Hollingshead. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see Hollingshead fucking win.
I think 1 year they should just judge the show on who fucking worked the hardest and put the most into it, just so Hollingshead can fucking win it.
Yeah, 100%. But Hollingshead playing the card that he should play, because when he's chased the inside, his uppers flattened out.
Yeah,
we've seen it, and we saw it at his last O outing. You know, we've seen him nail it, and we've seen him fuck it up. And the game that
getting condition, it's just what you lose getting into that condition.
Yeah, and can you fill it back out at the last minute? And
I like the way that he's playing it this year because it's on his terms. Like, there's no worse feeling than coming away from a big show, having done it not really the way you wanted to, but you listen to someone and then it blows up in your face. Like he handed the reins over to that Patrick Tour last year, and in the qualifiers, Patrick got it bang on, and then he panicked at the Olympia and just dug him into a hole, which was the opposite of what they were planning on doing. And he turned up like he did previously when his upper body just disappeared. This year, James is doing an unorthodox prep, listening to his body and bouncing off Jordan. And the look he's bringing to the Olympia is phenomenal. But in order to get to that inside-out, completely diced granite look that some of these guys are going to be bringing, he just isn't able to go to that place at the moment, is he?
I think he pips Ian personally.
But Ian's so wide as well.
But yeah, it's just.
He's a big dude, but I think
just got holes, got big holes.
Yeah,
in his physique, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not I have judged, but I'm definitely not a judge.
Be a challenge and call out. I'd like to see.
Oh, mate, that will be happening. That's got to be a side to side. That has to happen.
That would be fucking brilliant. Side shots as well, where they're both just nasty.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go 6th spot with Hunter.
I mean,
he deserves it though.
Do
you think they'd just give it him, or do you think he deserves it?
No, I think Hunter is deceiving. I just think that his physique is so well put together. He doesn't look like there's anything that's standing out on him. But like he's deceivingly, like last year he got like 4th, didn't he? So I just think he is bigger again this year.
You get raped for a pec tear. How?
Yeah, his is not like mine though, is it?
No, but it's pretty bad in some of the shots, and I think that the lighting on the stage is not going to be able to present the shots.
I think in that case he should win the Olympia so that they make pec tears cool.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a good.
He's about the same weight as Nick at the minute as well. So as in size wise, I think they could be a strong competitive to like together again. because he doesn't look it in pictures, but obviously he's a little bit taller than Nick, isn't he? I think, but they're not a million miles away.
No,
So I think he's one who never looks as big on pictures. Then you see him on stage, you're like, fuck, that's a big dude. Because last year and to be honest, Hunter's never really wowed me. I think he's great, but he's never been someone like, fuck, look at that. And in Olympia, when he came out, I wasn't expecting tons. I thought Nick would kind of walk it, to be fair. And he was a lot bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
A lot bigger. He looked a bit off.
We can put Hunter in. I want to put Derek in.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. I think the thing is with Derek is that he never comes completely diced, does he?
No, but I
Doesn't
mean,
look the same.
when we had him on, that was because he dieted too hard. So we'll see whether that's true. We'll see whether that's true. I dieted too hard, and then it made me fat. So,
well, my theory is I seen a photo of Hunter with Ben and Dean. They're all training together, didn't they? And he stood next to Dean White. I mean, Dean White looked like a child. So, and Dean's got a lot of muscle.
Different weight class.
Oh yeah, no, you'd make me look like I was just born out of the womb. But yeah, you know what I mean. Dean's a big guy, and he made Dean look like he was small. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's it, and I think that is just all happened because it was we said it, and that's the sort of clout that we own around here. So I'll send that to a text message to the IFBB, and that's what will happen.
Right. 2-1-2. What are we saying?
Oof.
I think Clarida's going to be a tough one to beat this year.
Clarida's in the Open.
No, he's not.
Is he not?
No. He qualified for both. He decided to do the 2-2.
He was on the list that I looked at.
Yeah, I think he's still on the list. All the guys that aren't doing it, I think, are still on there. Because I know Baruz can't do Go now, can he? I think a couple others as well. Nathan's not there, is he?
Yeah, Nathan can't get there. Do naughty.
Naughty.
Who else have we got?
Obviously you've got Kamal.
Yeah. I mean, Kamal is still fucking amazing, and he doesn't fuck it up.
No. That Angel Calderon, he's phenomenal. He is.
He's qualified for the Open as well, isn't he?
Yeah, but he'll be doing the 2-2.
I think he'll be a good one. Who's the other guy? Who's that Oleg guy? I think he's like, I don't know, he's like Russian or something like that. I've not seen him on stage, but I see photos and he's a fucking freak.
Yeah. What are we saying about our own Dean? Reckon he's going to crack the top 6 in the first go?
I mean, I would love to see that. I think it's possible.
I think he's going to be a tough top 6, you know.
Yeah.
I think it is. I mean, you've got Peter Molnar's in.
Yeah, Clarida, Keon.
And that's the thing, Peter Molnar, I thought, well, 212, maybe he'll, and then he turned on. I was like, no, actually, he can just do that as well.
Yeah, the shame with Peter, I think he's missed his time because Peter, in my eyes, has got one of the best shaped physiques in the fucking world forever. He's unbelievable. And when he was at his best and he was heaviest, he was about fucking 220 or something. For him to come to 212 flat and he loses a bit of that wow.
Well, we got Rob Taylor. What was about Rob Taylor?
No, he's not going. He got injured.
Is he not doing it?
No.
What happened?
Well, he injured his shoulder or something, didn't he?
Was it his back?
I don't know. He put a video up about how he pulled out because he had an injury and stuff.
I mean, I think Dean beats him, if I'm honest.
Yeah, no, structurally, Dean's quite flawless, really. He's just not quite big enough yet.
Rob's bigger, thicker, fuller. Dean's much classier, nicer, muscle bellies.
Nicer. Yeah, I think as well that Rob's got such an upper and lower disparity going on.
So we're going to put Sean. We're going to put Sean in. Yeah, Sean and Kamal.
I think Sean for the win. And
then, I mean, Kamal can pull a second.
Yeah, all day.
He's not going to fuck it up, is he?
I mean, he's getting older and older, and his physique's just not getting any less. He looks fucking amazing.
He's literally like 53 or something.
Yeah.
Like, and he just, he's done it for longevity purposes.
I can never Dexter. It's the Dexter Jackson of 212.
Yeah, literally. So, who else have we got? I'm not very up to date with 212.
I'm not that's on 212. I think Keon could be top 2, top 3, maybe. Looks like he's coming hard this year.
I think that Angel Calderon will beat him, though. I think
Matt, what did you weigh on stage last, Matt? What did you weigh?
I was 225 last time.
Could you get down to 212?
I think I could.
Chop a leg off.
Just see what I need to chop off. Just chop off a foot of cock and that'll do it.
Just cut your hair off.
Any last qualifiers we get Matt to do it, get him in the Olympia?
No, I think I'm at that awkward point. Like you were saying about Rob, I'm kind of a little bit taller than Rob, but it's like where you're almost too big for 212. Unless you're one of these guys with bird bones, you just can't. You can't compete with the shorter, denser guys. Like 212 almost isn't enough. You're on like a 30 class.
You're kind of on the fence, aren't you? Just a little bit too tall, and then you've got to play the absolute mass attack for the opens. But I mean, not saying that that's not going to happen. I mean, Bonac. Bonac is no word of a lie, 5 foot nothing.
Yeah,
I've met him in real life, and he is tiny, like height wise. And then when he lies down, he's the same height. It's literally,
it's a cube.
If he ever trips up, he'll just keep rolling off the face of the earth.
Let's scrap the 212 then, because we have got a couple of questions.
Yeah, I'm just to look up some people now because I'm not sure what everyone looks like.
We could do a 3. Let's do a top 3. So I'm saying Clarissa win, Kamal second.
Yeah, maybe Angel will be up there. To be fair, he is very impressive.
Let's put him third then.
Put him third.
Yeah. All right. Got some questions.
Some questions for you, Matt. How did you manage to keep your legs so full and big whilst on this prep?
To be fair, legs have never been the issue fullness-wise. Usually it's my upper. So from past shows, I've kind of always ended up doing what Hollinshead does, as in I'll get to a point maybe 6 weeks out and I look pretty decent, keep pushing for condition, and I come in fucking peeled, but I lose a pop to everything, like especially up top. But legs never usually too bad. Plus, we didn't have to do any cardio this prep, so they weren't really kind of getting fatigued from cardio. I think that's what a lot of the time what makes them fade or washes them out a little bit. So apart from walking, doing about 6,000-7,000 steps a day, that was it.
So did you start this prep in a much better place? Is that why you didn't do cardio, or was it just happened to fall that way?
Yeah, so food was like high off season. I did about a 2-year off season anyway, but food peaked at probably about 8,000 calories. I can't remember what we were right at the end, but it would have been around that number, around 7 to 8. And I wasn't massively fat. Like I said, like abs kind of thing, like more flabs, but you can see where they are.
What weight did you get to on 8,000?
I got to 265.
Right.
So I kind of got to about 260, dropped down, managed to get back up, got to like 265. But it wasn't a holdable 265. It was like I'd drop back down to like 262 the next day or something daft like that. But I saw it on the scale, so it counts.
That's like Dan's 310, isn't it?
350. Thank you very much.
Sorry, my bad.
Don't do the man out of 5 pounds. That's a lot.
Fuck's sake, mate.
Do you do what I do when you're trying to put weight on? You weigh yourself just before you go in bed, but when you're losing weight, you're straight on the scales first thing in the morning.
Mate, mine's holding a shit in. That's what I do. Hold a shit in. If I'm dieting, I'm trying to squeeze out whatever.
I always do it morning, just so like you can't say you like.
But I can still hold that shit in. I'm still holding it in.
So in answer to the question, then there's no secrets that you can give Dan for bigger legs.
I think the no cardio ones are good. So basically, I think the best way to approach prep is to have a fucking good off season. So if you get yourself to a point where calories are really, really high, body composition is really, really low, expenditure's kind of average or whatever, or as low as it can be, like you're not doing cardio all the time, then your prep should be a breeze. It's if you're fucking it up, I think, with like big off-plan meals here and there, but then you're missing meals that you should be eating, and you're all over. That you can put yourself in a bad position. So if you start a prep where calories are sky high, expenditure rather than like outside your need is zero, and you're not overly fat, which you shouldn't be anyway, because once you get so fat, you kind of don't know if you're adding muscle. I feel like your body doesn't cope with it very well.
Well, there is a limit. Visceral fat, sensitivity, protein synthesis happens. Like there is a limit to what you can.
Yeah, and obviously everyone's a little bit different, but I think if you can't see your abs as a bodybuilder, that's an issue now. You shouldn't be letting yourself get to that point. So yeah, just starting prep in a good position, setting yourself up well, setting yourself up to like succeed in your prep, rather than being like, oh, it's all right, I'm off season. I'll stick to it when I'm on prep.
There is no off season.
That's the hardcore answer.
But you know, it's true. Like everyone, like a prep, yeah, it's hard. But when you get into like the whole thing of like, okay, you're a competitor now, like just doing a prep's easy. You only have to concentrate for a bit. Yeah, like being an actual competitor is about having that laser focus all year. That's the difference between someone who's coming in like different each time, is not having the like off season. Like it's not off. And like you said, like if you're working with a coach or whatever, and your food's going up, and you're, oh, I'm really hungry. It's like, yeah, cool. Like you just fucking eat it, because it'll pay off later. And then also when your coach or whatever thinks they're playing with a certain amount of calories and you haven't been doing it, then they start bringing them down and nothing's happening. And actually, you're doing yourself. You know, I mean, it depends. Some people have to eat more, some people have to eat less. I personally hate off-season more than prep.
I'm the same as you, yeah. Fucking prep is the easy bit, but that's because you're doing everything in prep. You're force feeding. You're not like you say, just it's off as in you don't have to worry about it, because that's why prep's hard in comparison.
Yeah.
Like, off-season is just the same, really. It's just your Tupperware's got a bit more in it. That's it.
Yeah. The Tupperware's got, yeah. I mean, fucking, some people can do it. I think people that can gain on less food can like do it. Lee Priest would just eat shit and just would be able to. If I didn't track everything I ate, then I would just weigh about 9 stone. Because if I only listen to when I'm hungry, like my body doesn't signal that very often. So I would, and if I ate just 3,000 calories a day or whatever, I would literally just weigh nothing.
I'm not so sure that's true anymore. It may have been once upon a time, Dan, but yeah. I mean, if James Hollingshead's calling you a big motherfucker, then yeah, you're not exactly a small guy.
He was just being nice.
I don't think he was.
Just being nice.
I've been stood next to you, pal. Crazy, right? Okay, so Shane Maximus, we had Shane on as a guest before.
Yeah.
Crazy potential. What's the reason for PCA and not NPC? I think we've kind of discussed it.
Yeah, only one that had the time to get ready for with that, trying to blag that as a natural.
Yeah, but I think you're doing it the right way. I think people should go and run through the amateur, and then if the more amateur shows have a pro league, go and do that, stab at that, complete it, and then move on. You know, if you're running and paying NPC affiliated like promoters like huge amounts of money to compete, you should be in the run for winning it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you should be coming first call outs like consistently to make it worth it from financial. Otherwise, the more amateur like shows and stuff like that, they're cheaper. They're usually in a town near you, not just in the leisure centre that all of the regionals are in, for two bros.
And a lot nicer trophies too.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, fucking hell, 2 bros are not really making it appetizing for those of us who are in the lower regions of the competitive amateur side. Like fucking medallions that you get, just shit, absolutely shit. There's no two ways.
I do like a trophy.
Yeah,
I do like a trophy. But I mean, at the universe, the trophies weren't saying they're going to delete a class and stuff like that. So NABA's dead. So I think PCA are really going to start absorbing and growing And I'm pretty sure PCA were offered the NPC affiliation at some point, and they'd rather do their own thing. I think it's good what they've done. They've stayed relevant through times of COVID and hardship, and they're up to date on getting photos up fast. And you've got to play the game, man. Yeah. Most of the people, they're into that. I mean, I like the idea of no one saying anything, you know, training no one and then just turning up. But that's not the way the world works anymore.
No.
I think what they've done as well, like you say with the pro card, I think I heard that they was offered it as well. But like they're building quite good pro ranks from what I can see. If you have a look abroad, I know Ian Harrison, who's like their director in America, he reached out to us before the Worlds, and he came over, and he says he's got like 30 shows happening in America now, and that's with the IFBB being so like dominant in America. So I think it's definitely going to be a second viable route. And obviously there seems to be like a bit of a thing at the IFBB at the minute, like people seem to be slating them. I think word kind of travels, and once the prize money obviously gets up, it gives people another option. Like people might start going this route because they've got the pro leagues, they've got international shows. You've got America, you got like Korea, you got all over Europe.
Them fucking Koreans are crazy right now. Like they're fucking.
Don't start down off on them Korean women again. You'd be talking for a
They do look nuts, like China dolls with roids. It's like no virilization exists. There will be no. I will only have the benefits, and I will still have a doll child's face.
The big Rammies quads with a China doll head.
Yeah.
Well, imagine this though, right? You've got the likes of Hollingshead and those who are floating between like the 6 and 10 range at the Olympia, who are not going to really make any money going to the Olympia, and they're not going to. Imagine the likes of those jumped over onto like a PCA Pro stage where they're cleaning up like crazy money. And yeah, do you know what I mean? Like there's only going to.
It would only take a couple. It would only take a couple to do it.
Yeah.
It would before it became cool, because that's all it needs to do is become cool. And then, like,
you might start doing that as well. You think how much and how quick prize money can go up. You start selling shows that's got Hollingshead. Trying to think of like some of your top 10 place, or like some of your small, say like a Charles Griffin, like some of these guys. People are going to go and buy tickets, and imagine they was to be the entertainer one. They're like, right, we're going to do the challenge round. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
They did that. That was the entertainment's choice. You're like, we know we're going to go here and we're going to get a show. Like, we're going to watch a show. We're not like here just because we're crazy bodybuilding fans. We just come here because it's fucking freaks and it's cool.
Well, half of the crowd is usually made up because Steve, the physique competitor, out of 5,000 that are on stage, have printed T-shirts for his cousins, and they're all there. And then they leave after the first bit. That's most of the crowd that you get in bodybuilding shows now. Like
meeting friends.
Yeah.
I mean, when the PCA first started, everyone was jumping over. That one China show, I think Peter won. He won $100,000 in one show. That's a good fucking prize money for any bodybuilder to be winning. You had Sean Tavernier in there. You had Tony Freeman was coming over to do that pro show that I done, but he jumped out last minute. He had some big fucking names that were about to jump ship onto the PCA. If they keep pushing it and it keeps growing, I think you will start to see a lot of IFBB pros who maybe not doing as well as they should be, or they're not the elite top, might start jumping ship and earning some money from it. And you wouldn't blame any fucking one of them to do so.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you're professional, like we were saying about earning money. If you're a professional joiner, you're going to go and do all the jobs that earn you the most amount of money. You're not going to go and do 10 free jobs, so someone might give you an 11th job that pays amazing. You're going to go and get the cash in the hand, however much a day for doing Mrs. Jones.
I'm a professional athlete. How much do you get paid? What?
What? Yeah, but it's almost like a chicken and egg thing, isn't it? A couple of really high profile bodybuilders go across the PCA. PCA pick up even more substantial sponsorships, TV coverage, all that good stuff. That then drives up the prize money. That then becomes a more substantial scalp for these guys. And then it'll just keep doing that. And a couple more big guys will come over and it'll just become a thing. And that's essentially, if they can get just a couple of them to do that now,
Well, I just hope that the integrity of the organisation doesn't get corporate like entities involved. Because
No,
ultimately,
but then it's like the little things we were talking about earlier, where they say at the Olympia now, then you get 45 seconds for a pause and not. Like it's listening to those things and saying, right, we're gonna give them, unlimited pausing time.
have you
Or
seen
give them 2 minutes. So
the Arnold, Ohio cancelled the whole amateur show
I know what the
and
fuck?
removed like all of the female categories apart from wellness and bikini? Like,
Wow.
what happened if you're like about to prep for you're like gonna do it and you're like a figure girl and they just went, nah, sorry, mate.
They don't give a fuck, do they? Is that when they drop women's bodybuilding from the Olympia? Those women have dedicated their fucking lives, and it's not like they can just go back to normal the next day. They just dropped them. They're like, fuck, what do we do?
Yeah.
What do I do with this mini penis?
Yeah. I look like
Yeah.
I look like Iggy Pop.
Fans only page.
I look like Iggy Pop. What am I gonna do now?
Be a porno genre for that, don't worry.
Right. Okay, another question from Dan Davis. Number one training cue that changed a move for him, and more about his long off season. I'm not really.
So like a cue that's kind of helped.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'd say probably recently, like back's always been something I've really struggled with. Like I've tried. Well, I want to say I've tried everything. Do you know what I mean? Like I tried all the things you're told to do, like the heavy deadlifts, the heavy bent over rows, those kind of things, and I've never really felt my back or my lats until lately. And it's from taking apart exercise and like looking through a lot of people's videos, like hypertrophy coaches stuff is good. Mike Van Wyck, some of his stuff's really good, and just seeing the cues that they're doing, I've kind of took it back now, and I'll feel everything first. So I'll usually do like 2 activation sets of just like the single arm lat pull down that everyone hates. There's poncy shit, but when your lats are fried up doing that, and you grab a barbell or you grab a dumbbell, that's all you can think about because your lats are full as a house, and that's helped a lot rather than just right. I lifted this on it last week. I'm gonna try and lift this on it this week. Lifted that on it that week, and it's like being able to move an amount of weight never translated to a good back for me.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with obviously the one arm row is like literally 90% of my feed, which is why it's annoying. And I think it's just getting stick because it's like you've gone and you've navigated and you've tried, and now you know that you need to attack your back not in such a linear fashion. It's not responding. Then but it's like when people go straight to these quite complicated without trying the basics, without finding out whether they have a flaw, if you can't feel your lat when you first train, it's probably because you don't fucking have one. Like, but that's when moves like that are useful. Like, so it's not like that these moves are shit. It's just that,
the difference is though, gents, right, is that obviously Matt's doing that to get that mind to muscle connection, to get that fullness, to get that feeling, and then goes in and works hard. A lot of these other guys are doing those bits, and then that's it. That's the session.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, just some really super slow, really light
9 sets of adductors every day.
So what you're doing, Matt? You're basically pre-exhausting the lats, filling with blood, really get that feel for it, and then going in with some hard stuff.
I've always thought that that's a good idea with pretty much everything.
Yeah, I've done the same for chest a good few times as well. I did my bicep tendon the last off season, which meant I couldn't really press for a while. And then when I did start pressing, even now it still doesn't feel right. Like the right,
is it like the higher insertion parts?
Yes, it's like right in there, so any pressing it fucked up.
Yeah.
So to learn back how to kind of really fire my chest again, I started off with like doing pec decks and crossovers and things like that before moving on to like my pressing, just so everything's fired up, can feel it, it's there. And I do think it's a good way to go for anyone that's kind of struggling to connect with a body part.
But it doesn't look cool on Instagram though.
Well, that's all that matters.
Well, the people that are making money are those guys. I mean, so
yeah, this is true. We're the daft ones actually trying to improve how we look on socials.
That's a decent cue. It's something that I do with everything. And to be fair, with legs, I was the same. I was a good squatter, could squat heavy, chase the thing. You must always squat. Fuck all happened. I stuck to it religiously because I thought that was it's. I've just got to be able to squat more. I've just got to be able to. And then it was just like, actually, I need to think around this and think and move, you know, in a lateral fashion to actually train the muscle because I'm not engaging correctly. And also mechanically, I'm shit for squats. Terrible shape for squatting. 6'2" with long legs. Terrible idea, really. Really long femurs.
So I bet when you squat heavy, Dan, is it very hippie, hip squat?
Yeah, bent over a lot because my femurs are long. So to get that depth, I SSB squat with heel elevation if I do squat at all.
So you better doing it on a machine, innit? And really get into the machine and get full range of motion.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. But like starting, go and see. Some people can go and squat like fucking 3 plates, do some reps, just massive legs. Like go and find out. Go and do the basics first and find out. You know,
that's the thing. And you see, like I was saying with the one-arm pull downs, it's not lads who've been doing it for 10 years that are doing it because nothing else has worked. It's 18-year-olds that have seen it on Instagram. Like they've never tried a heavy barbell. Like,
this is your fucking fault. It's your fault because there's you now doing a video that's super slow with his fucking massive squats on. Well, that's how he fucking builds it.
Yeah.
No, I don't video the gay stuff. More the training. But no, like they've not tried it. Like if I could get away with just doing like heavy rows and shit like that, I'd much rather just do that. Like,
oh yeah,
fucking, it's boring doing this shit.
Headbutt the rack
off the floor. But that just don't translate to me. So you have to just find what works. Find the shit that fits. And
absolutely, but figure it out first. Don't just watch Instagram and go, that must be me.
That must be me.
Don't get me wrong. I have done that. We had magazines. People watching this might know what they were. They're like a book but smaller, more pictures, so suitable for me.
And everything.
And then I just be like, well, Ronnie Coleman does this, and I am Ronnie Coleman, so it will definitely. So we all did it. It's just that Instagram, obviously, there's so many of these. Oh, hang on, how can I do that? And it's like there's too much. Yeah. So write it down, track it, figure out whether it works. Not within a week, not within a month, within like 6 months, and figure out whether it actually is happening. And you know, if you can't feel a muscle that you don't have, don't worry about it yet.
Exactly that. I've got a question for you, Dan. What's chip shop reps?
Oh, chip shop reps. Chip shop reps just means shit reps. It's come up a lot recently since the video, and then it found its way onto Hollingshead's YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So don't worry, there is a T-shirt coming for chip shop reps. We're having it designed.
Are you really?
It just means shit reps, basically. So it's nothing more complex than that. Yeah, my reps were too fast. They were called chip shop reps. We also, when Hollingshead was there, we were trying to like get to 100 reps, and mine were too fast, so they were deemed chip shop-ish. Me and Amp had a bit of an argument in the gym, and that's chip shop reps just means shit, basically.
So do you know the James Hollingshead flannel shirts? Are they through Anth? Are they through the same?
I don't know. I imagine that Anth is the sort of guy that would have helped him if he'd have asked for it, because Ant's that sort of guy.
Yeah.
So probably, but not affiliated.
Okay. I bought one. They were like, literally, he had 50 of them, and they sold within like an hour.
Yeah, I mean, but Hollingshead is good. You know, when you buy something from there, you know, you're supporting Hollingshead's journey to the Olympia. You know, he's not getting huge orders and stuff, and you buy a hat and you get a cool hat because they are all nice things, and you help him out. So go and buy one.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so Matt, we think we've got to that point now. Towards the end, what we do, let's go guest to give us.
I put a question in.
You usually put leg training talk.
Yeah.
Is that a question? That was exclamation mark.
That's a question mark.
Okay, let's
I
go to that.
I want to know the leg setup.
Oh man,
I'm not going to do it because it's not going to work for me. But I can dream, right? I can imagine. Like
you can't do anything. You got a fucked up groin.
That's true. I can't do it. I've torn myself in half.
Yeah, I was going to say you're not going to be very excited. It's not the fanciest or the most special. And so I think we spoke about it before, Dan, over Instagram. So before prep, I actually had 6 months where I couldn't train my quads.
Yeah, that needs to fuck off. So you're saying don't train? Okay, I can do that.
Like Dan's doing that.
I'm doing that
right now.
I'm doing that right now.
Well, that's it. Just cut it there. That's all you got to do. Don't
Wicked.
try 6 months, you get legs like Matt.
I should sell an ebook or something on that.
I like that. At least now, next time you go on stage, Dan, you'll have massive legs.
Well, yeah, probably not.
but yeah, so that was tendonitis. So I had patellar and quad tendonitis, and basically, like, my legs were just fucked. Like, I couldn't, even at work, like, I couldn't like kneel down, or just getting up and down was a nightmare. Like, anything even approaching 90 degrees, like, would just kill me with no weight on. So I had to do quite a bit of rehab for that. So since that's happened, and like prep, luckily it was okay with, but you're not pushing any, you're not making any progress really in prep. You're just kind of trying to hold on to what's there. So now coming out of it, it's just trying not to train like a dickhead. So I've been training with one of my mates quite a bit who's got a similar problem, my mate Will. So we don't go crazy on anything. We'll keep everything or most things above 15 reps. So it'll usually be a leg press to start, and we'll do maybe like a 15 to 20, another set around there, and then like a 20 plus set to finish with. Still like going as heavy as possible. Like you're failing on those last kind of rep, maybe with like an assisted on the last one or something, but it's in a high enough rep range where you're not putting tons and tons of load for it. We're not moving explosively out the bottom. It's kind of more constant reps rather than exploding out trying to move a big heavy weight. I'll always do like a couple of sets of hamstring curls first. So a session will usually be 3 sets of seated hams, just because I find that helps with knees a lot. You know, just getting a bit of blood round and then walk a little bit. It's all that John Meadows thing, but it does seem to work for me. Move on to a leg press, do a couple of ISO holds just to load the knees first. Seems to take most of the pain away. 3 sets on there, like I say, kind of 15 to 20, 25 plus, something like that, those reps. After that, move on to some kind of squatting. Usually for me, like a hack squat, but legs have been really tight after the show, so I've been struggling with them. So it might even be like a half hack or something like that. Whatever the gym's got really, that's a similar squatting movement, maybe a belt squat. Moving on from there, we'll finish quads off with some extensions. I'll usually do 2 sets single leg because the tendonitis was quite a bit worse on the right side. So the teardrop has kind of regressed a little bit and lost a bit of muscle on there. So I'd try and do them individually, and then I'll do 2 sets both together with like a drop set on the last one usually. And then a seated ham to finish. Usually again, same again. So I'll do like 2 single. So I find it takes your glutes out of it a lot. And you can find sometimes when you're doing double and you're really trying to move weight, it just, no matter how strict you try and be, you end up getting quite a bit on your glutes and lower back. So I usually do 2 first, single, so it's all hamstring, and then 2 to finish with like an ISO hold or drop set or something, double leg to kind of load them a little bit more, but when everything's fired up and you can stay a lot more locked in, and then that's about it. So it's not.
How often do you do that?
Once a week.
Is that all of your leg training? Do you have a posterior?
No, I used to always hit legs twice a week.
So you don't do like a hamstring day or?
No. I've done it before where I've done like stiff legs or like hamstrings and a stiff leg on a back day, which I think is a good way to bring them up if you need to. But up has always kind of been where I've struggled. So any kind of volume allocation, for fancy, it's kind of like, you know, when you design your split and you're like, I can only really get away with this much on each day.
Yeah.
So for me, I try and prioritize most of that to like my weak parts, which chest, shoulders, and back really. So that's what I'm doing. And legs I know can kind of tick over on one day a week's fine, and it kind of gives my knees a bit more rest as well.
So in short, Dan, you're fucked.
Well, it's the exact opposite planning that I do for my training.
Did you not get his advice, Danny? The best thing you could take from that, he just said, don't train like a fucking dickhead.
Okay. Oh, I don't know.
6 months off, don't train like a dickhead.
Well, I don't know if I can do either of these things. Training like a dickhead's like my thing, which is why I can't train legs properly at all after tearing.
You say that some of the guys that do have massive legs do train like dicks. I think a lot of it is, genetically predetermined how big your legs are going to be. And that's obviously been gifted with some of those genetics that meant that his legs were going to be massive, even if he just looked at the squat rack. So
everyone has their crosses to bear. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has, unless you're actually 100% put together, everyone has one thing that needs more allocation.
I think, like you say about train like a dickhead works fucking great for building your legs. Yeah. It just doesn't work great on the 6 months where you can't train them. So.
Oh yeah, no, but it's good to see your insight, and actually, certainly from someone who's got tendonitis in their knees, which I have as well.
Yeah,
it was annoying that actually when I did change, and I have been doing like higher reps, and like 20 pluses and stuff, but the weight just like on the leg press just did me anyway. So I was
that's it, and it's that much time and attention as well. And to be fair, the reason I think I've done it listed this time, because this is the second time it's happened. I had it kind of, I think, coming out of like my 2018, like my first year, coming out of that. So between my first year and second year, I did the same again. I was training with someone at the time that also had good legs. We got competitive on like the hack squat, and you just end up burying yourself. And I think the higher reps works really well for legs anyway. I think because I've always been able to move a lot of weight like quite explosively. So I always used to squat a lot like you, Dan. You've got to squat if you want big legs. So that's all I did. I'd go in, I'd squat until I couldn't squat anymore. Then I might deadlift later on in the session just for the fuck of it. I just got fucking a big arse and like big hands. never any quads. So that was when I kind of had to rethink things. But yeah, I think you've got to be smart with it. You've got to see what works for you. Like you say, just squatting does work great for people. There's people who just squat heavy and they've got phenomenal legs, but you've just got to see what works for you. Like you say, give it 6 months. Is it working? Yes, right. Fucking this is it. Stick to it unless anything changes. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
I mean, that's what we have a lot of people about programming and stuff. And it's like, well, how long should you run a program for? And the answer is it broken?
Yeah.
Like, otherwise, forever. If you found the one that mechanically works for you, you should never. The goal is to never change it because you figured it out, right?
No, you've got to trick the body. Got confused.
Oh yeah, because the body definitely has this third eye somehow that
knows you got a new preach curl at the gym.
Yeah. My leg training or most of my training now, being a bit older, is all designed about trying to lift as little as possible. If I'm completely honest. But it does, not that I'm phenomenally strong, but it still does sometimes hit weights. Does sometimes
I've
hit
seen
weights.
Some of the weights you've lifted, you prick.
that does still rip your tendons. So that's where
that's the thing with strength as well. Like you kind of like you, Dad, you can move stupid weight. I've seen a lot of your lifts and seen obviously training with Holland's Head and stuff like that. So I think after a while you kind of get to a point where it's like a risk reward. Like you get so strong where being as strong as you are is then dangerous in like a 6 to 12 rep range. You're having to load that much weight on. Like I've done it before, like hack squats where you sat there, you're actually like, fuck, how's this going to go? You can lift it, you can move it, but there's always going to be a weak link in the chain. So I don't think you lose anything more by adding another 5-10 reps on that and dropping the weight.
Absolutely not. I think it's all just about reps in proximity to failure.
Yeah, if you're working fucking hard, you're eating your food, and you're resting, you're going to grow. I don't care if it's 8 reps, 10 reps, 25 reps, within reason.
As long as you're not blowing out, like as long as your cardio doesn't fail first.
Yeah, as long as you're not doing reps in reserve.
Yeah, 100%. Still, big reps in reserve is wank for anyone. I want to put it out there.
Yeah, but my book said this week I can only do 5 reps.
How the fuck do you know what reps of reserve are unless you've trained to failure? How do you program that? And then it's progressive anyway. So what the fuck are you doing? Just imagining, aren't you? You're just making it up. You're just imagining.
My coach, I had to do a PB every week, so I gotta hold back so I can keep PB.
Oh God, yeah. Don't get me started.
That's all right. I'm just gonna start putting up videos of me lifting ridiculous weights and saying, "Yeah, that was my reps in reserve. I could have done another 5."
That's a good plan.
But I couldn't do it because I was reps in reserve this week.
Here's my 30 rep set with 29 reps in reserve. Here's a concept that came up the other day. It was like, when you first start out, you shouldn't train to failure. And my argument to that is when you first start out, you mentally don't have the strength to train to failure anyway. You need to align your mentality to be able to do it. So I think that trying to overthink that too much, just train hard. When you start, just train hard, because you haven't got the mental capacity to know where muscular failure is. So don't try and pussy out at first. It's just
so this is quite relevant, really. My training partner, Steve, you met Steve when we traveled up. He'd never trained legs before until 3 months ago, and he'd only just joined back to the gym. He did have a body a few years ago, but like I hadn't really ever trained. Sorry, so he joined back at the gym just to see how things would go, and then he started doing legs with me, and he's only ever done legs with me. And he's been blasted twice a week, every single week on leg day, and he knows no different. We've had a couple of people come and dip in on our leg sessions and bitch out, and he doesn't understand it. But it's like, for him, that's just normal now. And so we've set the benchmark there. He doesn't know any different. So I think that served a huge thing for him.
That's what happened to me when I started. A guy was pushing me. I was spewing my guts up. I said, come on, next set, you do some more, you spew up again, do some more. When you don't know any better, you just fucking do it, innit?
I do get that. Sometimes I make people sick, not on purpose, but it does happen. It actually happened on the weekend as well.
Happened twice today.
They're like, oh, my stomach. And I just say, it's all right, we're not training stomach. This will be all right.
You're welcome. You got a free ab session as well.
I did have one guy that threw up so long I did actually feel bad. And I did actually, I was there because he was cramping when he was vomiting, because he'd obviously lost all the fluid. So I'm trying to get him to drink Lucozade, but he can't hold the Lucozade, so he's still throwing up the Lucozade. So I'm grinding salt into his mouth. Just let's try and stop the cramping somehow.
Probably thrown up for so long.
I
text him.
It's going to be a beautiful human.
I even text him let me know you got a homo.
I had this one time, right? Well, a good friend of mine, he came along. We did a leg session. He spewed, had a nosebleed, and shit himself all in one session.
That's gangster. What a guy!
It was superb.
What a guy! He's still your friend after that.
He's never trained legs with me.
I've never seen him again, but he's my friend. I'm definitely a shit myself guy over a sick guy. I'm never sick.
Yeah. Been sick a few times. Yeah. Like I told last year, every leg session I'd be fucking spewing.
Oh mate, I'm not a puker. It's the wrong end. I will shit myself though. That will. Yeah.
I'll gladly shit myself.
I've done both. I started as a puker and I progressed to a shitter.
Was it on your plan? As long as it's on the plan, it needs to be cyclical. Week 1,
leg press.
Week 1, vomit. Week 2, and then you go to vomit and shit.
Yeah, only level 2. Only level 2.
Yeah. Only in the last part. Once you've titrated your vomiting, then.
What scale of shitting yourself are you talking now, though? Are we touching cloth, or are we full on unloading?
I full on shit myself when I did deadlifts once, and I did 10 reps was the goal, and I shit myself on rep 3, but I still did 10.
It's like that girl, wasn't it, who went viral on Instagram because she's a powerlifter and she has to piss herself every time she deadlifts. Fucking hell. I
read up on that, and apparently if you are a pisser and as a female, you can move your belt higher up and it helps put less strain on your pelvic.
Just in case she's watching this,
just in case, just anyone. Do you know what I mean? The worst part of that, I did see that video and I was just watching it, and I watched it before, so but I don't know why I was watching it again. And then it cut to a guy lying down, big.
I've seen that, yeah.
I was like, okay, that's enough internet for today.
I'm surprised it wasn't you, if I'm honest.
Well, I've got a wife. I can't make these videos anymore.
That's the only reason.
That is the
Just a quick one as well, Dean. How bad were the glute drives, the hip drive on those deadlifts for 6 reps of shit in your
you ain't knocking that out, do you?
Pushing together each rep.
Well, it got a little squidgy towards the end, and when I completed my whole set, I kind of just styled it out and pretended that I twinged my back, so that's why I'm walking funny.
God, your back really smells. Can you smell it back from back? Really smells. His spinal fluid must be coming out.
Fuck.
I mean, but the thing is once you've shot yourself in the lift, like that is your last set, so you have to finish it, right? Because you can't move on to the next exercise having shot yourself.
I did. I just went in the toilets and wiped. So I had wet wipes, so I gave myself like a nappy wipe. Picked the pants up, those unsavable, in the bin. And I
Couple of
still had
socks.
exercise, so I carried on.
More of a man than me.
Commando.
Leg day.
Yeah, there was a guy who shit himself on stage, stood next to me once.
No.
I've always been scared of that. That's my number one fear.
He turned to me, he literally turned to me. He said, "If you could smell something, it's me. I've just shit myself." I was like, "Fuck!"
Ow!
And
What the fuck?
he was first out for the routines as well. So we walked off. They called his name. He was nowhere to be seen. I was like, he shit himself.
That's my number one fear since my close call,
Yeah.
where I couldn't even pump up because I was going to shit myself, and so and then when I won, I literally ran away. I
remember I came close once. It was I prepped myself for the show. It was 2019, and I over dieted. Like I just kind of fucking got carried away. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be the biggest, but I'm gonna be fucking peeled. So like, just kept digging, and I'm like, right, I best carb up now because there's fuck all left. So like, just hammering carbs, like 1,200 grams of carbs a day. And then on the show day, for some reason, I was like, fuck it, just keep pushing it. Like, stomach was staying tight. And I ate like a full pack of like rice cakes and a full tub of jam, like backstage, just like, yeah, still look all right. Let's have a few more. And my stomach went. And with Two Bros, it's like you go on and do like, I don't even know what the point of it is, to be fair. You go on and do a few poses.
You do the rotation. They do the rotation.
And then they call you back on for like your mantras, whatever. So I've managed to get through that bit, come off. I'm like, fuck. I was like, how long before we got to go back on? The guy's like, you're going to be straight back on. I'm like, I'm not, because I need to shit now. Like, run off to the toilet. Like, I'm like, I don't even care if I can get back on. Like, this is coming out of me now. So, like, unloaded, managed to somehow get back on in time. And then driving home, it was in London, and was driving back to Nottingham. There was fucking roadworks all the way. I'm like, oh, I need shit. Fucking pulled into like a little garage thing. They had one toilet in there, like the disabled toilet, whatever it is.
Did it look like the toilet at a train spotting?
You pulled the wheelchair twig off the toilet, discarded them in the streets. It's my turn, bitch.
So I managed to get down there, finally got down, sat down, and I'm like, I'm shitting in this toilet like rusty water, but then I'm throwing up at the same time.
Oh God!
I think that's like in front of me. I'd barely drank, but I'd been eating rice cakes and jam, so it was just like a thick.
Oh,
do you know? It just reminded me of Dumb and Dumber. Do you know when he gives him the X-Lax and he's shitting in the toilet?
It was like that, and it was like a stew, just with like bits of rice cake, like floating round, not draining. The toilet's not flushing right. I'm like, fuck, I need to get out of here now. So I come out, and there's a little lad waiting outside the toilet. Obviously, it's the only toilet. I'm like, oh shit, just go. Like, this is get the fucking car started. Let's go. And I just hear, Dad. I thought, oh dear. Oh, poor lad. I'd fucking absolutely demoed that toilet.
Scarred him for life.
Well, that's a good. You've done a scientific bit of research there.
Yeah.
See that rice cake and jam that you ate just on stage didn't make a difference. It definitely wasn't digested. So when you see the people backstage looking at the physiques going, half a rice cake, yeah. No, one rice cake. Yeah, that's the exact amount. Yeah, they're chatting fucking shit. It's not getting digested.
And 18.9 grams of jam, please.
Yeah, 18.9, all 20.2. It's not. They're bored. That's what's happening.
If you're not ready at that point, you're not saving it at that point.
I try since my first episode. I try and eat very little on show day.
Yeah, your stomach as flat as it can be. You should be loaded by that point anyway.
Yeah.
And whatever you eat, what you're pumping up, probably hasn't even reached your gut by the time you're on stage anyway.
Yeah.
It's not done anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the moral of that story.
I do like a bit of pump like a bit of a
Well,
pump.
you tend to find a lot of the guys who are carbing still hard backstage are the guys who are running diuretics hard.
Yeah, because they've
Um,
absolutely flattened out.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
won't
never
drink water. They think,
bother. Just get a big belly, flat as fuck muscle.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's water and salt more than anything rather than the actual carbs.
It is, yeah.
Load of carbs is probably just like a hydration or like sodium issue.
It depends on what they're using as well, doesn't it? You've got some of these people using aldactone, and by the time you've loaded up on that, you're fucking gone.
Yeah.
But-
Don't take out that tongue.
No. Right. Okay. So I think we're about that time now. I'll try again.
Oh.
So 3 top tips. So what we ask is our guests to give our viewers, if there's any left at this point. Generally, our podcast, we get quite a good viewing, but I'd be surprised if people can put up with an hour and a half of our bullshit, if I'm honest, without turning it off. But for those who've made it, yeah, for those who've made it this far, stick a thumbs up in the comments. I don't think there'll be many. So what I'll do is I'll take the top tips and I'll put it at the front somewhere so there's a bit more importance. But what we ask is you to give three top tips so people who are watching this or listening to this, it can be bodybuilding or life or whatever, tips that you would like to give or you would have liked to have had for yourself once upon a time, maybe.
Don't eat a full thing of rice cakes and jam backstage. Number 1.
That's a solid shot.
That is a solid tip. Don't follow any of you boys onto a leg press because maybe skid marks on it. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe serious ones. Maybe I don't know. It's hard to put me on the spot a bit there. I would say probably what we talked about earlier is in how like the importance of an off season and setting your prep up right. Just because I think that one's one that's not done a lot of the time when it is such a big thing. So I'd say that'd be one. With the training as well, like we're saying about the single arm stuff and the messing about when you're so young and you've not tried anything. I just think when you're like 18, 19, your first couple of years bodybuilding, I just think don't take it seriously. Like just enjoy it. Like they're the times where you do the stupid shit where you go in, you just want to move where you're eating just whatever you can get your hands on. You're having like tuna sandwiches 6 inches thick because you think tuna builds muscle, that's protein. Or do you know what I mean? You're going out eating a tub of ice cream every night because it's like, yeah, I just want to get huge. And they're the fun years of bodybuilding before it gets serious. So
it's true. People are thinking about it.
Yeah.
About it too much. And yeah, you can make your own mistakes. Don't obviously tear something off. But yeah, I agree. Some of my fondest memories
fuck you, Dan.
Of that. We did that a little bit later. But you're right, some of my fondest memories were that.
Yeah, it's the overthinking. Everyone's trying to outsmart bodybuilding, but if you just go in, especially when you're young, like you're gonna grow. Like lift weights regularly. Obviously, I say like just do whatever, but like know what you're doing, like form wise and stuff. Like get the basics there, and just do the basics. Find out the fundamentals. Learn how to lift. Learn how to do a squat. Learn how to do a deadlift, a bench press, these sort of things, and just eat, enjoy it. Go with your mates, do whatever, hang out. And just use those couple of years because once you do get into it, especially if you're going to be at a good level, like it does get very serious to where like you're having to do stuff because this is the best way to do it, not just because that's fun or whatever. And a lot of people are never going to get to a level where they're going to earn money from it or whatever. It's a hobby, so just fucking enjoy it. Lift your weights, eat your food, grow, get massive.
You just killed every single newcomer's dream because their dream is thousands from sponsorship from YouTube channels and Instagram.
There goes your 6-figure muscle tech contract straight.
Solid, mate. Loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that covers, I think.
Yeah.
That third one.
Cool, man. Well, look, it was a pleasure having you and
thank you very much for having
catch up. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you, boys. Well, good to meet you anyway, like properly face to face. So, yeah, awesome, man.
In a COVID way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Social distance.
All right. Big love to all.
Absolute
Watch out
pleasure,
for
gents.
Balmer. Follow him on Instagram, all that sort of stuff. #blessed.
Hashtag blessed. Love it. Cheers,
All right.
gents.
Peace out, guys.
Guys,
care.
thank you.